Welcome back to Into the Breach. This time, the Flame Behemoths will be my first attempt at a perfect 30k run with the Flame Behemoth, which has little offensive power. We just need to rely on fire to deal 1 damage at the beginning of the vector, and we have Flame Shielding, which is fire immunity for us, but I'm not going to use it right now because the core is more important on the Flamethrower, adding 1 tile. And we got R.S.T telling us how advanced it is, which makes him quite funny. And that's the main reason I brought him along, although any one of the good pilots might work. I don't see a perfect pilot for the Flame Behemoth. Any good pilot will do. I picked R.S.T also because I like his dialogue, but we'll do it later because I have an exploding Psion take care of, so I want to take care of that first. I already recorded the first island because I wasn't sure. I assumed I would have to redo, but it went well. So the exploding Psion seems very dangerous, but yeah, if you take care of that at the beginning, it's not too bad. I guess there are less Vec in the first island. Also, the disposal unit as a first, the high threat mission makes everything much easier. But the fact that it helped me to do this, besides the R.S.T's extra core, which I used on the teleport, so I could teleport from 2 tiles away, removing fire immunity, adding 1 extra tile to the Flamethrower is actually very helpful. We don't need to worry about fire for now, even though I'll keep it until the end. I'm going to use the original weapons unless I need something else to get the perfect island, which will happen sooner or later, of course. Here it is again, complaining. Field repairs really are more a job for our robot intelligence. It comes from a more advanced timeline in which the androids, called sentient, are taking care of the humans. A bit like cattle, but not really, because they think they are doing that for their own good, for the humans' good. We'll see later other lines. But here we have a very weird map, and the Leaper luckily have only 1 HP, so we can just add fire to them. But yeah, the Vec are jumping out from acid, and they are also exploding, so that's more tricky than the high threat mission with the disposal unit. Disposal unit is a great way of making XP early on, but of course we'll find other pilots. We have Ganymede, which is actually another Greek name like Archimedes, but where Archimedes was a scientist, philosopher, Ganymede is a mythological figure, the cupbearer of Zeus, and that's why the biggest moon of Jupiter is called Ganymede, of course Jupiter being the Roman equivalent of Zeus. Luckily I was able to avoid damage, and I misclicked there, but yeah, it's very important to the positioning before. I needed to get the right positioning before committing to the attack, otherwise I need to restart. And yeah, we are on fire, but not too bad, because when we repair, we repair also the tile, so we'll survive. Even though yeah, we don't really need these 2 pilots, since my goal is to make all 4 perfect islands, so I will get 4 pilots at least. We fought conservatively and efficiently. We got the boosters, which may be useful since we get extra bumps instead of since we don't have much offensive power. Bumps may be necessary. Also, with the limited mobilities of the ranged mech, bumps are not too bad. I've added to the meteor mech. The mountains will not be destroyed if they get on fire, but the acid vats will. And I wrong order again, so I blocked myself. I need to move before, because you cannot move through Vec unless you have Henrik 1. Almost killed R.S.T there. Luckily he can move, so he's a perfect pilot for blocking. Also with the acid vats, the best option would be to put them on top, to teleport them on top of a spawn, because the Vec spawning will destroy the vat, and the acid pool of course will destroy the spawn, so that would be ideal, but didn't get any chance to do that. It's a bit tricky, but yeah, it was funny to see how the Firefly, 3 Firefly at the beginning seems the easiest thing. Instead when you don't have anything that can deal 2 damage directly. It's quite tricky. Citizens, please remain your emergency pens until safety has been restored. And that's my favorite line. Even without looking into the game files, the BIOS tells you what Archie thinks about humans. And we got another train mission, which is not too bad. I always like to do train missions, but with Flame Behemoth it shouldn't be too bad, since of course the train is immune to fire, otherwise we couldn't even add one single fire tile to his tracks. It would be almost impossible. So the train is fire immune, like the buildings, and we have the flamethrower that we can basically punch through the train to get to the other side if we want, like I did at the beginning with the swap mech. So an extended punch. That's why I needed the extra core. But we got we got a mech reactor on Ganymede. That's perfect. Can add the flame shielding and go to the corporate HQ. Our sensor picked up a mech we've never encountered before. I feared it won't go down easy, but luckily he has got only 2 companions. So this is the Psion Abomination, very cool portrait, and his effect is called Overpower because +1 HP regeneration, explode on death, 3 Psions equipped into 1, but I'm too far away to drown the Firefly, so not much you can do with Archie. Just offer himself as a target, I guess. Yeah, the attack animation was on top of the tower, no depth. Yeah, I need to be very careful about killing the Vec now. Psion becomes a priority, not only for the objective but also tactically, because very tough to kill the Vec with him around, and also if they die, they explode, so not ideal. Definitely not ideal. Fortunately, got off the regeneration. It's a swan song. Yeah, the Leaper decided to attack in a very bad spot for him. I could get some more XP. I think we are fine for now. Great defense, great. So Colin will remain here to help Detritus. I guess it's his island. We'll be happy about that. And they won't get any XP, but get rid of all the Vec. With 1 more HP on the Flame Mech, I could have gotten the XP on the ranged mech, but doesn't matter. All the Vec are dead. We got Camila and the cluster artillery. Even if we wait, you cannot see the final reward anyway, so there's no point. I guess you can check your loadout. I'm going to try the pilot instead of making the ranged mech the same as the judo mech, which is actually much stronger than this one. And Pinnacle is very scary with the unique leader and the spider, so I think I leave it for last. Hopefully I get some good weapons. Centipedes may or may not be scary depending on the maps, but I don't want to leave R.S.T as a 3rd island, definitely not after the first time with the Stigedoka. Don't think for a moment I'm falling from the time traveler stories, but your mechs, they're undeniably impressive. If Black Rock and Fox Plateau were switched, we could get the maximum number of stars instead. 1 less, still good. Try not to fall into the depths. So we should be fine if we just push the Vec further and further away. Attention all citizens, please remain your safety pens until the Flame Behemoths secure the area. And that's perfect. Flame Behemoth 1, Centipede 0. And when Archie describes how Vec die in water, Flame Behemoths 1, Centipede 0. Cataclysm is horrible if you get a time pod over here, but if you get spawns, they will go away, so it's worth it to keep blocking and wait for the spawns to go away. Of course, these two will be too late. So we have a bit of tight spaces over here. So the meteor mech needed some extra help. Also, I could have killed by hitting the city because the buildings are fireproof, luckily. But yeah, he will die anyway, so there was no point. I wanted to block safely. Also, the Alpha Hornet is flying, so there's no point in trying to destroy it. scariest part is leaving your mech on a tile going down. Perhaps I underestimated you, Officer Vera. I think you could teach a cadet a thing or two about Vec. And again the line in the last episode. Maybe we should start sinking more of our island. Fortunately we got just grid defense. Yeah, not very helpful. Vera. R.S.T. I thought there was a lot of smoke. But for now, no webbing, no smoke. Instead, high threat. This is probably the toughest mission in the game. Destroy 2 mountains, kill 7 enemies, the 2 toughest objectives on R.S.T. Technically you could get double buildings with the solar farms, but the problem is the map. And this map is very tough. If Cataclysm was advantage us, this map is very much advantage Centipede, because aside from column A and H, everywhere else we need to put something in front of the Centipede to avoid damage. There are no 3 free tiles. Also, the mountains in the middle very much block us. The excuse for this very tough objective is that the Vec are using the mountains as a hive. That's why we need to do this, but yeah, it's very, very tough. No water to drown the Vec. The teleporter is much less useful, and yeah, kill 7 enemies without help, without water. Yeah, probably the toughest mission in the game. If we had better weapons, instead of Camila, could have gotten the overpowered weapon, a Judoka ranged equivalent. Also, the mountains are fireproof, I guess, like the buildings, so need to get some bumps, and the cracked ones are in the corner. Yeah, probably the worst map we could have gotten. That's why R.S.T. is tougher. But if I manage to break the mountain like this, then there's a hope. Yeah, using the boosters on the Prime Mech is actually the only reason we are still on track somehow. Bumping, we don't have damage, so we need to use bumping as much as possible. We need to kill the last Vec, the last turn. We are a bit close, but barely finished this mission. I did not expect that. I was already ready to restart and throw away the whole recording, but yeah, when you try to do the high threat missions and you get one of these, kill some enemies, destroy 2 mountains with a low damage squad. I thought it was impossible with a loadout like this, but we survived. Yeah, there's still hope for this run, so keep this loadout and try to defend the train. Yeah, that's the worst mission one after the other, but I quite like defend the train. We have full power teleportation, the maglev line. This is the last supply line for this region, I guess. And I started with this weird formation because I was hoping to get the Centipede to target me, but it didn't happen. So yeah, if the enemies see, if an enemy like the Centipede see 3 things in a line, it should prioritize it, I guess. But maybe they prioritize the mission target. Yeah, it works best with the bosses, which are more complicated attacks, so you can bait them more easily. I'm not blocking with Archie, I'm just trying to get the Vec to attack me the opposite side of the train, and it worked. I didn't even realize the power of the teleportation. Also get 1 extra damage. Probably I should have set it on fire first. And it doesn't help too much the fact that Scorpion is on acid, because we don't have direct damage. Luckily the train is fire immune, so we don't need to worry about that. Of course we'll get the toughest Vec on the last turn. We don't really need to kill them. So the train mission is shorter, it's just 4 turns instead of 5. Defend the Earth Mover and battle lesson for Mech damage. Chasm created by malfunction in stabilizer. I don't like the Earth Mover. Also, the Vec spawned in a weird spot, so the game could not remove the land. I do hope the pod contains an intelligence I can have a decent conversation with. So technically we could do this and make the Scorpion destroy his friend, but the Centipede we don't have any room to move it anyway. I think the best option is this. Used to call it an R.S.T. special. Yeah, that's the void tile of R.S.T. and we'll stay in front of the Centipede to block damage. Ideally, we want to set fire to as many tiles as possible. Yeah, we don't have time for that. Since I'm on acid now, I cannot do the same, use Archie like before. Also, we could use the Alpha Scarab here, but I think the most efficient option is this one. If we go over the 4 damage, if we reach 4 damage, then we can still repair on the last turn, so it's not. The important thing is at the end of the battle, picking up the pot just in case. I didn't need to block, but could have left the Hornet here to take damage. Doesn't matter, and I almost... It seemed too easy, but of course when I punch it, it's on fire, so it will be dead before it can parry. You really need 1 extra kill. Yeah, that's the reinforcement. And so we survived once more. We get just a reactor core for our effort. And now Corporate HQ, not very easy, the Hornet leader, but the map is not too bad. A Mech monstrosity is assaulting our tower. And that's how bad the Centipedes are on R.S.T. So these maps are brutal. There's no room. E8 is not a free tile to leave the Centipede attack, since it will attack 3 tiles. So the only column is A, since H is blocked by mountains. So in the end, we need to put something in front of the Centipede. Luckily, with the extra teleporting, is not too bad, but of course we want to get rid of the Hornet leader first. Is our objective. It will look for 3 tiles in a row, so maybe I could have convinced the Hornet leader to attack me. We don't need to block, and the acid will work well with fire, aside from the smoke, of course. Yeah, the smoke will remove the fire, unfortunately. The Mech have emerged. Wonderful. That's the crucial part of putting Mech over here, because we have only a few buildings, but they are very, very tough to move around. Instead, if you put targets over here, where actually it's not ideal, I should have the Flame Mech. I mean, Camila was the best option, of course, since it's immune to webbing and smoke. And we could do this, but of course the leader is a priority. The turn order is such that we can get rid of the Psion and the leader in 1 turn, which is perfect, but it will leave a very tough Centipede. And we just need to save Ganymede here. And our teleporter is stuck. A cool combination we could do with the back burner is to attack like this. Since we are fireproof, we can kill this one. 2 damage from... since it will be on fire from the back burn. And then 1 damage from the fire. But we cannot do that because the Scarab here will hit this building, of course. Plenty of options, but I think the most convenient is this, since the smoke will block, and then we'll be able to move where we want, but actually we can parry with our Prime Mech. Good thing that I parried with the Flame Mech, because now we'll need Archie to save us again, and I blocked myself. Great. So turn order is very important. Good thing we still had the reset, because that would be bad. Even while blocking, the last turn is not as easy. Very good thing that we absorbed the other hit with the Prime Mech, otherwise it would be... the 30k would be dead. Seems an easy map on first sight, but it's actually very tough, like most map on R.S.T, but we got very bad luck with R.S.T maps. So yeah, the primary duty of Archie's mech is to defend the pilot, not at his work. And yeah, this time I think it earned. It was an impressive performance. I was hoping to get the nice one where the Hornet come from the void and the Centipede from behind will keep targeting them because they are in front of the buildings. Instead, not such luck. One tough map after the other, so we barely scraped by. We got the Swamp Mech is already flying. Prosper on the Flame Mech doesn't seem too bad, actually. Also got to move, so yeah, definitely want... Camila wasn't particularly useful on her island, so on the island with all the smoke, it'd be cool to try the shield array and without the flame shielding, but sticking with the standard weapons. Maybe we use the acid projector, smoke drop, maybe my timeline, humans are not allowed to carry weapons, let alone disarm robots. This reactor challenge ensures my mech grows tall and strong. It is a new gardening tool. Poor Prospero, still a bit confused. But we'll go with this. And then I keep the reactor course depending on the mission we find. Zenith has the horrible, very tough leader, while with the spiders also, while Archive has the borrower and the diggers. An offshore volcano is causing these tides, which works very well for us. The soil has been contaminated by the time pod's impact, and because of this time pod actually we are in trouble, because it would be easy to push the Firefly on D4 and then bump against the Alpha Borrower, and his attack will go away, will go to the border of the map. But because of the time pod, we could actually do this repair. If we repair, we get second movement and move away. Yeah, that's not ideal. So what I want to do instead is use already this thing, because I want to see if the digger gets stuck over here. So actually I want to get rid of the Firefly. Don't need to block the first turn, but I will add the fire, which means it will take damage at the beginning of the turn and run away. No need to worry. And of course this battle, unlike with the Earth Mover, the battle will get easier and easier as we go on. So it is not too bad to postpone, to leave the Vec for later, like in other missions. So yeah, I was right. The digger is completely stuck, cannot burrow like the borrower. Apparently is the digger only on the nearby tiles where it produces the boulders. So it will be stuck for the rest of the mission, and also will block an important spot for us, so the other Vec cannot hit. And yeah, they will remain like this. Actually, the tidal wave acts first, so you don't need to worry about this one. Not sure what it's going to do to the Alpha Borrower though. It will become water, and the Alpha Borrower, usually of course you cannot push him into water, but I wonder if water comes to him, he should die anyway. Fire comes first, so if I add fire to him, it will go away before the tidal wave, so I don't want actually to add fire. The Flame Behemoths have been recycled. Yeah, I did reset because I needed to move the Flame Mech before, but if I move it before, I'm not in the right spot because I want to target both of them. So if I go over here, should be able to do it. Actually, I want to get the bump also, so I will do the opposite. Yeah, should work, hopefully. Yeah, since they are flying, they want... oh, and yeah, that's why I wanted to go on the other side, but I did reset before. It was one tile. Yeah, I needed the extra tile. Oh well, at least it's on fire. And now, yeah, the water is getting really close to the buildings. Perfect. The back decision to spawn on a water-rich planet is rather peculiar. So let's just do this. Do I need... Actually, yes, I want the XP on Prosper, not on Archie or Camila. But let's see now. If we get XP, it means he's dead. If not, it's just the animation. Yes, it's that cool mission to experiment. And we got the pod, which almost destroyed me. So Eric 1 is the equivalent of Prospero, because they both can move through enemy units, but Prospero can also fly over water. Eric 1 cannot. Yeah, we have been very unlucky with R.S.T. We got the toughest missions on R.S.T. and here just one high threat. And the high threat is destroy the dam. So actually I have enough cores to add +2 damage, which will make destroy the dam very easy. Destruction of the dam in this region is necessary evil. It will create a natural barrier between us and the burrowing Vec. And if you wonder why I'm over here, because I checked the tiles, this leaper could go, and both this one, and so it could go here, and this one I would get webbed. So now I'm free to move. Well, actually Camila would be better in this case. We did already this, which is perfect. So there's no fire, but it works anyway, and we are good. And of course we need to block, which is, well, seems the perfect. Once again, Dewey on Archive is giving us the best objective for us. Actually, yeah, need to be extra careful here, because the Prime Mech cannot do much, and they cannot reach to block. So I need to block next time. Yeah, we have this river in the middle, so it shouldn't be too hard. The Vec are to remain planted in the ground. We must prevent them from surfacing, yes. Yeah, we need to reach this side very fast, otherwise we are in trouble. I don't want any risk at all, so I'm going to do this. Since we didn't kill these two Vec, I was worried that next turn we get not enough spawns, so let's see if we get a third one. Unfortunately, when the borrowers go underground, they lose fire, so if we didn't lose the fire, it would be too easy because it would get hit repeatedly at the beginning of return, so there would be no point. We don't have another spawn, so yeah, was very cautious. So if I didn't block this one, it would not be guaranteed to have two like this. When I started playing, I thought it could do it later, block spawning, especially on squads with just 3 movement per mech. But I would fail this objective over and over until I decided to start blocking for turn 1. And that one is just the extra HP from the Psion, so we don't need to worry. Let's see if it dies underground. They all have 1 HP, so they should be dead. Yeah, 3 from the borrowers, 4 from the Hornet, so 10, 2 from the Psion, 12. Yeah, should have worked. Should have counted also the borrower which died underground. Anyway, we did it, the tough one. And we got the old Earth artillery, added some extra weapons to help with Camila on front, so now we don't need to worry about webbing from the Leaper. And another time pod. This time the digger is an alpha digger, which is a bit of a problem. And of course the Leaper targeted the Prime. Oh well, at least it's in a good spot. The digger is not in a good spot. That is far from easy, but would be a perfect situation for a smoke drop, which would take care of everything, but I want to kill as many as possible to get some extra XP. So instead of blocking, I'm going to do something more elaborate as usual. That's much better than just dropping some smoke, even though it was the perfect pattern. Of course we cannot teleport the alpha borrowers, so the swap mech is not as useful over here. That's why projectile is so important, otherwise would be dead. The shield tank can help. Finally, got rid of the extra HP, can kill some more back. Reactor removes, so Ganymede, even though he has no abilities, is actually quite good. The shield will make the mech not catch fire. And I forgot I don't have Arch anymore after all this time. And now for another unnecessarily complicated solution. And I forgot that I don't have... If I still had the 2 damage, I would have killed the Firefly over here. Shield has dispersed like sparks in a storm. And we did it! Oh, we got the electric whip. Fire and electricity. Maybe you can use it for once. Definitely not the right mission to test the electric whip. At satellite launches, the satellites die in 1 hit from the whip. So yeah, that's a mission to avoid with the Blitzkrieg. Now without water, that will be a tough situation, but yeah, don't even get the boulders, the digger, because there were no free tiles. And yeah, I wanted to block just to be safe. Even though if I stayed over here, if I stayed where I was, the Leaper could not have come close to the buildings. Also got the extra HP, but we can use the satellite against the Psion. I actually need to push. I could have added an extra fire tile, but I like using the rockets against the back. Didn't even use the secondary weapons, even though yeah, smoke or the targeted strike would be helpful, and also the satellite would have survived anyway. So didn't really need to kill. Shorter damage from rocket exhaust offset by long-term gain insecticide efforts. And yeah, good thing that I didn't. Still have 2 health, so I can leave this Firefly. Is it immune to smoke? Yes. So I could smoke over here without an issue. Yeah, don't really need to worry too much. Just want to maximize XP. So I want to train Prospero and do this, but actually I'm very close to getting Camila, so I think I just smoke drop. Don't really need to do this. A promotion, my foster mother would be proud. And I knew it was from R.S.T, but I didn't expect him to be the 6th adopted daughter of Jessica Kern, who maintains an extended family of 20, none of them related by blood. This is written in the game file, you can check in the wiki. Ex-cartographer studying terraforming, apparently the only survivor. This testing. Also a perfect candidate for becoming a pilot, since she always had a loathing for insects. That's a touch that of course is not really necessary for this game, but if you know that Chris Avellone wrote it, then it makes sense, since Planescape Torment and then among others Fallout New Vegas. Of course this is the touches you need to define a character in an RPG. Not really need them here. And yeah, that's the Firefly leader is very strong and it needs its help to get rid of the other Vec. And I could have used this before, but I want to keep the boulder. Maybe they could be useful. Didn't need to do extra damage on the digger. The leader will take care of it. Yeah, rival Vec. Perfect. Now he's targeting this way. Yeah. This will do nicely. Unfortunately, I didn't set it on fire yet, so I might not be able to kill it. I told you that the boulders could come in handy. Yeah, building chain is fun, but we want to use mainly the Flame Behemoths weapons now. I like this boss. Just too easy. At least I killed it with fire. So not many tiles on fire, but Flame Behemoth kill the leader with fire, so everything will look good on the report. Don't tell anyone I use the electric whip. This Vec has cocoon me in a manner that is neither protective nor safe. We just need 4 XP on Prospero, and Ganymede is sacrificing his well-being to help his comrade in arms. Oh, we got it. Move a reactor, perfect. So I have the confirmation that it counts the HP when you kill it. And the shields again. So the theme of this perfect island is shielding. Of course we don't need Ralph Carlson, especially if he has grid defense. Technically they had only 3 HP together, so 3 XP in total, but the bonus from the Psion meant it was 4. I thought it went away instead. No, it counts how many HP they have when they die, and they die together. So anyway, we don't have a brute. Don't think it's worth it, the extra core for any of this. And after some loadout changes, we're ready for the final big obstacle. Pinnacle Island. We have Archie, which is originally of course from this island, and is the only, if you look into the game files or the wiki, is the only one that offers an explanation for what is happening here, even though it's quite clearly there's something wrong with the robots. Freeze and defend both robots. I think it's either a command going against what the robots were meant to do, so they don't know what to do basically, or the fact that the time travelers, the sentient beings from a different timeline like himself, have been interfering with the natural order of the island. Let us begin our Vecticide efforts anew. I had to reset because even though this looks very promising, actually the tank has not enough movement. It's to go around the Psion, which is the tricky part, so even though it's passive, his AI is actually doing really well, blocking us. The odds the Vec resurfacing are 0%. So now that I'm in this position with the web, I think my only choice is to do this. It will defrost it, but it will save it. So yeah, biggest menace is gone. Now need to hope that the Psion is not too smart, and the Psion regeneration removes the heals the damage from the fire, so yes, so now it went away, otherwise it started to be very awkward. Also on his timeline, Zenith controls all 4 islands, so that's why comments about safety pens, because they were Archie and the other sentients were caring about humans a bit like humans care about cattle, but they didn't milk humans. I guess we should be happy that the robots are malfunctioning then. But yeah, we got plenty of fire, but we don't really need the fire immunity. That's very convenient using ice. Don't really need shields, but don't have anything to do. The shields actually help a lot with that. You just need to be careful that no Mech hits the frozen things on the last turn, because frozen robots will melt if hit. I could actually start blocking, but yeah, I'm training Herrick 1. When all the pilots are full health, there's no reason to not block. A gift from the future. The time pod has disturbed the soil. So we don't need to do anything with these robots. In some missions they destroy the ice themselves to become active, but I don't think they will in this mission. It's just become more convenient spot for us. I have acquired the time pod. As expected, it is filthy. Good to see that Mech making themselves useful. Yeah, this one easy enough to use the single block of water to our advantage. So the water is very powerful. Mech has failed to adapt to new environmental conditions. The order did not matter, the experience did not matter, because they're both full. So we just need to get rid of the Mech, and that's it. Another reason why the 4th island is not too bad. If you have leveled up already or your pilot, the Mech will remain in the soil until ready to be harvested. I guess you put it like that. Also, these bots are actually helping us because the Mech are targeting them instead of doing something more useful. And that's it. Got the level up we needed. Nutrients of the seized Mech have been distributed into the soil. And that's what all it's about. Kill the Mech, use a fertilizer to help us recover from the apocalypse. Got a brute weapon that we don't need. Grid defense on Herrick 1, but yeah, I'm piling up the reactor cores just for the toughest mission because I'm worried before this scary one. Still have a quite relaxing one. Oh, that's a mission I said that the Mech were freeing themselves, so we don't exactly know the order. It would be nice if they defrosted in the turn order. Instead it's randomized. That makes a bit tricky, but don't need to worry at this point. Still have very limited offensive capability. I definitely need to switch up the secondary weapons. Okay, not using the electric whip as an extra challenge, but now it's getting ridiculous. At least for the next mission, this reset was just a misclick. Not sure why I did go over there, but just wanted to add fire over here. But of course, yeah, I could have defrosted this. It would have the Firefly would have killed it immediately, but we don't need to worry too much. Already doing okay. Luckily the bots are not immune to fire. And yeah, as usual, last turn in this mission, completely land has been cleared for planting. And we got Abe. We got armored, but with grid defense, not particularly helpful. But here we have defend the robot factories, so it's a true high threat mission. I have 5 cores. I need to switch things up. Hundreds of innocent lives within the factories, but the factories themselves are producing very bad robots, so we can kill those. Now, the first part of my plan worked, so I left my swap mech here to get the beetle on this line so I could just push him. But unfortunately the second part, which was convince the alpha spider to come on E1, which was his only tile on the column E, he had 2 targets over here. Instead he preferred to stay here, which is perfect actually for backburn. So yeah, I should have done maybe this, but instead the meteor mech would work better in this position. But don't need to worry, about this. So instead of drowning the beetles, I will just use them. Also, I can do this. I added the electric whip back, but I use it just in case. I don't want to throw away the whole run, just as an extra challenge. So I think I just leave things like this and try to add fire to as many tiles as I can. And again, offering myself as target over here with Archie. Good to see the Vec are making themselves useful. We got a second spawn, and the Vec did not take the bait of Archie, but actually they're hitting themselves. And here's the problem with the Flamethrower, that if I push, it won't melt the ice. If I don't push, it won't drown, and that's the same if he was standing on ice, but we didn't have the upgrade, so just one tile with the Flamethrower. You cannot decide not to push until you get the upgrade. So I can easily get rid of the beetle like this, but if this is on fire, actually it will be dead, then the cannon mech will destroy 3 damage. So now HP upgrade would work very well. I would survive. Now instead I need to do something else, and the turnover doesn't help. So I need to use the shield over here. Try to bait the beetle again later, getting rid of the robot, just in case. If this beetle had attacked after, we could have finished this one. But yeah, moving it over here would have avoided the hit from the Scarab. Still 2 turns to go. Luckily the Alpha Scarab is almost dead. And yeah, didn't work, the baiting. But this time actually we can just move away. The cannon mech here is still unpowered, so it won't do anything this turn. Actually, I can do this to finish him off. It will remove the shield, but for the building it will die just from fire. And yeah, half the map on fire. Surely we can find a better way to block this creature than with our mechs. Last one, you need to use the electric whip. Quite happy about that. Now we go to Corporate HQ with the final obstacle for a 30k run. This is not a Vec, is a bot leader, which somehow the bot has taken control, have replaced a Vec leader, has taken control of a group of Vec, and they've added some extra movement to the Flame Mech and HP. For some reason it's called Unnamed Pawn on this save file. The first video for this channel started the new profile. A generic enemy is called Pawn in the code. In the other 2 profile I didn't see that, but also it's the only one with different stats. When you play as on easy or normal it has 5 HP, on hard it has 6, and it seems a minor change, but actually it's very difficult because it will self-repair. So aside from the rockets Mark IV, which are very damaging, but if damaged, this unit will shield itself and prepare to heal, which means that fire will not work, because if we set him on fire now, it will repair next turn and also the shield. So we need to try to deal all the damage in 1 turn, or at most 2, otherwise I left it for last because we have more options. I think now is the time to use the electric whip. Be a pity to ruin the perfect island. And if I added 1 extra movement to Archie, we could have finished off this Firefly. Instead I need to waste the Meteor Mech over here, and not many spots I can actually teleport the leader. At least you can block. But yeah, I added extra movement on the Flame Mech instead. Archie needed more, and yeah, I wasn't able to destroy the Alpha Spider because of this. And now he's going to heal, so yeah, it shows he's going to repair. Of course, fire does not destroy the shield, actually it's immune. Even if we remove the shield, it will repair anyway, so don't remember, I think it repairs to full in any case, so I think we'll need to focus on the other Vec first. Also, we could have used the smoke to prevent him from repairing, I guess. Doesn't seem to be smoke immune. Probably could have done that. Because I need to repair Archie, and yeah, when I repair, I cannot repair to full like him. A bit unfair. It's the distinction between androids and robots. That's the best we can do. Again, if not on hard difficulty, this would have been enough to kill him. 1 HP makes a huge difference. It will repair, but actually, I think since it repairs later, I think it will die, yeah, even under the shield. So fire damage at first, so fire can deal 2 damage to him instead of 1. So we are good. Otherwise we would be in trouble, actually not really in trouble, because we can just move away. These two do not do anything at all. We are full XP, so full max level. There's no reason to worry about these two. Could have killed them with 1 extra movement. Yeah, hopefully this will die. I'm trusting the game. So normally the shield blocks damage, but Mech Garden pests are relocating to another region. Of course the shields intuitively block damage from outside. I was remembering it correct. Bethany Jones would be very good, but I want to try the heat converter that I wished I had with the Flame Behemoths. And we got more ice. Mercury Fist, which is great for the final battle because of high damage, and Smoke Bell. And Wind Torrent, which is the overpowered weapon. I'm going to put back the fire immunity, switch weapons around, and then sell everything. I decided not to go with the Wind Torrent because, well, we don't have Silica with the double move. When there are many Vec in the final mission, sometimes you cannot use Wind Torrent at all. This reactor shall ensure my mech grows tall and strong. I went with the damage. At least we partially fixed the damage problem, but we've seen that flame fire is pretty weak compared to the other squad. A touch of civilization. And we have more cores than we need because it's maxed. So I decided to go with Camila, at least she has an ability. Because they are all maxed out. Could have waited and used 3 stars to get extra grid defense, so get extra chance to avoid damage. I'm not considering that as truly avoiding damage, just luck. I don't want to get any damage at all, although our starting position is very limited. Picking up tectonic activity, watch for lava, that volcano's active. That's another reason I wanted Camila, since not using her much. I was thinking of a way of using the Hornet leader to kill the Firefly, but we can just drown it. So there's no point worrying about advanced strategy, advanced tactics in this case. So the extra mountains is becoming lava. And the 6th row is actually giving a lot of problem to the Meteor Mech. Of course the boss is massive, so we cannot kill it as easily, but now we have the Blob Bear, so no spider here, just the Blob Bear, which may be worse. The blob will explode, well, with nothing around. I need to worry about that. Even though the Wind Torrent could have helped us pushing everything up, we can still do it by pushing with the other. Less offensive power, more moving power, displacing, like the Rift Walkers at the beginning. Luckily the projectiles are helping us. These Vec are Hyper Harvest. Yeah, we don't need it because the volcano is harvesting them by itself. And we got the Tyrant and the fire damage is before, so unfortunately environment is not enough to avoid the damage from the tentacle, but fire it is. So of course lava will not kill us since I am fire immune, so it will be just like water. Still I more tiles to move, because the other side is becoming all lava. Up the board. Chance of Vec evolving gills before it drowns, 0%. And I actually, yeah, this would kill it anyway, but Archie would die with the Tyrant, so need to kill it before the Scorpion. Also when it's dead, it drowns, technically, the same animation, and the Beetle has nowhere to go. Vec, you are accosting a designated Pinnacle HR office, unhand me. And seems an easy turn, but this would kill because we are immune from fire, not from friendly damage. Luckily we can do this. And I just need to be careful not to go here. In the end the teleporter was so good that I didn't even need to use the heat converter. Vec nutrients nourish the water. I don't think the water needs to be nourished. I guess you could say Prospero is a bit defective. The transition to soldier did not go as well. That makes him interesting. Archie still is the best. My calculation indicate even 100 mechs couldn't bring down the hive. Deploying a rainfield bomb. And squish the bug. Affirmative. You heard the CEO, people. Let's get this done. We took care of the wreck. The toughest turn are behind us. Just need to finish up the job. I actually forgot to use the heat converter in the first battle. Wreck are about to merge. They will likely be hostile and trying to kill us. Again, we cannot use the environment to avoid damage from the Psion Tentacle, even though we have enough HP. But just in case, direct kill is better, of course. Also, I would have moved away the other pack. Standing on top of a spawn on the second turn, I think every 2 turns the Psion Tentacles are targeting you, so they will create lava and the spawn will go away. So don't need to worry about that. Just a poor Vec left. So the original flame-based weapons show their age, their limited power, not enough damage to do fire tactics. On the final island, but at least we can try the freeze thing. Of course the spawns do not go away because, as usual, we can let the Vec destroy the bomb and Jessica will send up another and another and another one. An emphatic punch from the Flame Mech. And that's a 30k perfect run with the Flame Behemoth. Still have to do the first 4 squads, but I might do something different next time. My work here is at an end, yet the journey continues. May we meet again when every timeline has been saved. Yeah, good luck with that, Camila. Recticide complete. It is time for each of us to continue our cycle elsewhere. These are the stats. Last time I just did a quick 2-island victory. Also I had the chance to try Ariadne and remove the secondary weapon, which is the easiest choice. This is a perfect 4-island victory on hard. No damage, no dead pilots, no destroyed mechs, no failed objectives, no resisted damage, while keeping the 4 original ones. Anyway, next time maybe something different while I wait for Harold on this profile. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.